Hey, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for meeting with me.
All right, so I want to start off this session by setting up an agenda. And so, what the agenda will kind of do is it will talk a little bit about what has happened between now and last week and help us figure out what we want to accomplish in this session, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, I'm going to take a few notes, but it's just so that I can remember what you are saying. So, tell me a little bit about what has happened between now and your last session.
Well, on Monday, I didn't get out of bed at all.
Okay.
I laid in bed all day. I didn't get up. I didn't go out. I got up to eat and went right back to bed.
Okay. So you didn't get out of bed Monday. All right. What else has happened?
I missed all my classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Those are the only 3 days I take classes, and I take like 2 classes every day during those times, and missed all of my classes.
So you missed 3 days worth of classes. Okay. Did anything else happen?
I went out with my friends on Wednesday night. We went out to eat. I stayed long enough to eat, and then I left, which was only about an hour. They went and did some other activities after I'd left, so I could have stayed longer.
Okay. So you left after hanging out with your friends for an hour. And what about anything else? Did anything else happen this week that you feel that you were struggling with?
Well, on Friday, because I missed class, we had a huge assignment that was due that counts for like 25% of our grade. And because I didn't go to class, I missed the assignment. And because I didn't tell the teacher I wasn't going to be there, I'm going to have a 0 for that assignment now.
Okay. So you missed a big homework assignment.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to take a break from the agenda for right now, and I want to kind of review your homework from last week.
Okay.
So I know that your homework was to write down a few goals that you wanted to accomplish for the next week. So did you do your homework?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So the first goal that you have here is to get up and go to school. How many days do you want to try to accomplish this goal?
Well, because I only do go the 3 days, I would like to go all 3 days, and especially since I'm kind of behind now from not going this week.
Okay, so 3 days. I'm going to write down 3 days here. So the next goal that you have on here is to try to hang out with your friends. And how many times do you want to try to hang out with your friends?
Maybe twice or 3 times this week. They always invite me to hang out more, but I always just say I can't go because I'm doing something when really I'm just sitting at the house.
Okay. All right. And so the third goal that you have on here is to attend an on-campus event. What events are on campus this week?
Well, this Friday there's a huge basketball game. My friends have already invited me. I have already told them I was going to this one because I do back out of all the other ones. And usually lasts about 4 hours. So
good, awesome. Well, I think all 3 of those are really good goals. I think that those are things that you should really work hard towards trying to accomplish in the next week that you have. So let's go back to this agenda that we have set, and I want to look at those 4 things, and I just want to kind of summarize them to make sure that I've written them down right, okay? So you did not get out of bed on Monday. You've missed 3 days worth of classes. You left after hanging out with your friends for an hour, and you missed a big homework assignment. So looking at those 4 things that we have in our agenda, how do those things make you feel about yourself?
They really just make me feel like a complete failure. I mean, this is, my 2nd year in college, and I should know that I have to get up and I have to do these homework assignments and try to have a social life. I mean, you're only in college once, and it just makes me feel like a complete failure that I can't even get up and do these simple tasks.
Okay, so it makes you feel like you're a failure whenever you can't do things that you feel like a normal person can do. Well, can you tell me what the opposite of being a failure is?
Successful.
Okay. Being successful is the opposite of failure. All right. So how much of a failure would you say that you are on a scale of 1 to 10? Can you give me like a percentage?
I would say probably, 95. If you look at the entire week, I went and hung out with friends for an hour.
Okay.
And that was the only successful thing I did, which, if you look at 7 days, an hour is not really a whole lot of time in that time period. And so I just feel like maybe 95%.
Okay, all right. So we're going to put down 95% failure. All right. So what I want us to take a look at, I have already made up this activity log for us. And I just want us to take some time to try to fill this out. What this is going to do is it's listed hour by hour, and I want you to write down, we'll do one here today in this session, write down your activities that you have done in the hour that is listed. So you'll write down your activity, and then the first thing I want you to do is I want you to rate the activity that you did on an achievement scale from 1 to 10. So I want you to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how successful you feel like you did on that task, on that activity. And the second thing that I want you to rate it on is I want you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 for pleasure.
Okay.
So how much enjoyment did you get out of doing that activity? Okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to let you take some time to fill some of this out. So tell me what you're writing down now.
Well, from midnight to about 8 a.m., I was asleep. Achievement, I would say, is a 1. I wasn't doing anything besides just sleeping.
Okay.
Pleasure-wise, though, I do enjoy sleep, so I put that as a 10.
Okay.
From about 8 to 10, I went to church. I complete that as an achievement scale as 10 because when I go, I do feel better in life. And a pleasure scale is also 10. I am very religious, and so I do enjoy going. I like singing and praising the Lord and all of that. And then after that, I had an early lunch with a friend. Achievement is 7. I have to eat at some point.
Okay.
And I did get out and go eat with a friend.
With a friend, yes.
Pleasure is 9. She's not that great, but she is pretty good.
Okay.
I had class after that for 2 hours.
Okay. And how did class make you feel success? Did you feel accomplished whenever you went to class, or?
I did. Like I said, I hadn't been all last week, and so when I went on, Wednesday, I did feel good this time. We did an open lab, and, I was put in a group with people who didn't know what they were doing, and even they said, just because I missed, I still understood what was going on in the class, so.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you went to class today. Okay, so it doesn't look like you get much pleasure out of doing your homework. Is that right?
Yeah, it's super boring. I don't mind going to the classes and doing the work there, but just doing extra homework, it really bums me out more than anything.
Okay.
I do feel accomplished when I do it, but that's the extent of the pleasure of it.
Okay. what I'm seeing here on your activity log in the pleasure category, it looks like you have a lot of tens in a lot of areas. So the areas that you do get the most pleasure out of are doing things like eating and watching movies and playing on your computer. And so let's look at achievement. So what you feel achieved doing, you feel achieved doing your homework, even if you don't get a lot of pleasure out of it.
Yes.
You feel achieved by going to class, which I think that is a big achievement that you should feel proud of yourself for doing. You feel only 6% achieved, or on a scale of 1 to 10. Why is that? Why do you only feel like you're about a 6?
Well, when you're watching a movie and watching TV and playing a game, I mean, those things are fun for you, but are you really getting anything out of it, accomplishing anything? You're just kind of having downtime, alone time, or just hanging out, not really doing anything.
Okay. So what would make you feel more achieved?
Maybe joining a group on campus and maybe doing something with that group. Going out with friends, even feeling accomplished doing that. Maybe doing a little bit more homework than just an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Reading a book. Trying to catch up on some of this missed homework that I've done.
Okay.
Some of those things, maybe.
Well, do you feel like there is a group on campus that you find interest in that you could join?
Possibly. I do think there's like a missionary type group where they do church related things and kind of do like some like work around campus, help out,
Okay.
do a lot of charity things as well.
Okay. Well, I think that would be awesome. I know that you said there was a basketball game on Thursday,
Yes.
but what about also adding maybe going to one of those events on campus that the church group is involved in? Maybe you could get to know some of those members and
Yes.
hang out with them.
Yeah, my friends really aren't into that, so I'd have to go alone and meet some different people because, they are more into the sports part of everything, so.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that you did really well looking at this activity log. So if we're taking a look at this, and I want you to look at the numbers that you have written down and that you have scored, and I want you to think back to what you told me earlier, that you were a 95% failure. Do you still feel like you are 95% a failure looking at these achievements and pleasures that you have listed here?
Well, I guess not, because I do have a lot of 10s that maybe I didn't think I had in my life at the time.
Okay. So if you were to rate yourself now on a scale of 1 to 100, what percentage would you say, what percentage of a failure you were?
Maybe just like a 40%.
A 40%? Well, that's a substantial decline in the percentages. So, okay. So I feel like you have made some progress today. We have looked at your concerns of being a failure, and I feel like some of the goals that you have set will really address those things that we talked about on the agenda, about getting out of bed and making sure that you attend school every day, or the 3 days that you have classes, and hanging out with your friends for more than an hour. I feel like all of those things will really help you overcome the feeling of feeling like you are a failure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a blank activity log to take home with you, and I want you to try to work on this while you are, like, during the week. You don't have to record every hour the way that we did here in our session, but just in general, I want you to kind of list things that you've done throughout the day, and I want you to try to rate them on the achievement scale and on the pleasure scale. And whenever you come back next week, we'll be able to take a look at the activity log that you have completed and kind of see what other things that you find pleasure in doing that maybe you didn't realize that you had before, or things that you feel accomplished in doing that you don't realize yet. So thank you so much for coming in today.
All right, thank you for meeting with me.
We'll see you next session.
All right, thank you.